Episode 13, Rich Boy Packs Lunch. Room 888 was already filled with people. Ken Stokes, a well-proportioned and middle-aged man, stood at the door of the room and chatted with the general manager of the Golden Mansion Hotel. "Are you all ready?" The general manager bent his body slightly forward and respectfully said, "Everything has been prepared according to your directions. The only ingredients for the meals you brought this time were an eye-opener for our hotel. You are the only one in New York who can find so many precious ingredients." Ken didn't pay any attention to the general manager's flattery and simply said, "My guest is about to arrive, so go busy yourself." As soon as the general manager left, the long-haired beauty ran in. When she saw Ken, she walked up to him as if she had made a mistake. "Mr. Stokes, I'm late. Sorry." "Sit down." Ken looked at her speechlessly and sighed. "Luckily, Alex Ambrose still hasn't arrived. Otherwise, I would have lost face because of you." She smiled apologetically as she sat down in silence. Ken stood at the door of the private room and waited anxiously. A moment later, Alex casually appeared in the corridor. Ken was startled and rushed over to greet him. "Mr. Ambrose, you're here. Come in, come in." After being respectfully invited by Ken, Alex walked into room 888. Everyone in the room stood up. Most of them wore suits and were in their 40s or 50s. They were all upper-class people from New York and the surrounding states. "These are all people who work in the East Coast Division." Ken introduced them to Alex and then said to the others, "This is Mr. Alex Ambrose." "Greetings, Mr. Ambrose," they said in unison. "It's him," thought the long-haired beauty. When she saw Alex, her eyes widened in disbelief, her entire body filled with unease and apprehension. Had I just shouted at the family's heir in the elevator? Alex also noticed her, and he hadn't expected that this sexy long-haired beauty would be in the room. Alex's gaze lingered on her face for a second, before he returned to normal and calmly said, "Everyone sit down." "Mr. Ambrose, please take a seat." Ken gestured to a seat beside the beautiful long-haired woman. "Oh," Grace Carter realized and walked to her seat before giving the long-haired beauty an indifferent glance. She glanced at Ken again. Noticing the questioning look in Alex's eyes, Ken explained who the long-haired beauty was to him. "She is the director of East Coast Division's Information Department, Lucy Smith." Lucy looked at Alex with a very bitter, powerless, and dejected smile. It was no wonder that she would laugh out loud no matter how optimistic she was. "Mr. Ambrose, please have a taste. I had this dish specially prepared for you," Ken suggested as he placed a dish before Alex. "Okay." Alex picked up a mouthful of the dish and put it in his mouth. It was very tasty. "It's been more than 7 years since I've eaten in such an upscale hotel. This is the first time I've eaten something so delicious in a long time," Alex thought silently in his heart. What Alex did not know was that when the other guests tasted the dishes, their appetites were also stirred, and their hearts were also filled with yearning. The banquet soon ended. Alex had eaten until his belly was full. "Mr. Ambrose, have you finished? I'll take you to the Bay Club to rest after you're done eating," Ken asked respectfully by his side. It was rare for the young heir to show such appreciation, so he had to serve Alex well. "The clubhouse?" thought Alex. "No need," Alex said. Lucy had been relaxing along the side of the room after the banquet. After seeing Alex's shy expression, she couldn't help but cover her mouth and quietly chuckle. Alex was so cute, she admired it to herself. Ken nodded, and the others all sat down and looked at Alex without saying anything. Alex looked at the dishes on the table and seemed to be deep in thought. He took out his phone and looked at the time. It was 1:30 in the afternoon. "Mr. Ambrose, is there a problem?" Ken asked worriedly. It felt it had been difficult for him to entertain Alex, and he felt he may have failed. If true, and this was spread to the elders, would they blame him? The others also nervously looked at Alex. Inviting their young heir to a meal was no small matter, and they couldn't handle the stress. How could a bunch of elites from the East Coast Division have the ability to entertain this young man? No, Alex shook his head slowly. Then you are... Ken was confused. Alex smacked his lips, looked at Ken and said, These dishes were pretty delicious, so I want to bring some back for my friends to have a taste. Hearing Alex's words, Ken and the others looked at each other in dismay. For a moment, they were unable to react. So, Mr. Ambrose was thinking of picking up some food for his roommates. Isn't this unexpected? Thought Ken. A rich, second-generation heir was so considerate of his friends? While the others were surprised, they were also very impressed with Alex. With such a rich family, the absence of putting on airs, Alex would become someone great in the future. Alex didn't understand their point of view. The others looked at him in a daze. He simply pointed at the delicious dishes on the table and said, Mr. Stokes, help me pack this, and this. Yes, I'll do it now. Ken nodded as he came back to his senses. As he said that, he had walked to the side of the room and began dialing his phone for the general manager to arrange it. Naturally, the general manager didn't dare to hesitate and ordered the kitchen to make the dishes again with the ingredients that Ken had brought. When all the dishes were prepared again, the general manager added a bottle of good wine along with the food. Half an hour later, the general manager and 2 attendants arrived at room 888. Each of the attendants carried a blue and white box in their hands. The general manager said, Mr. Stokes, it's ready. Mr. Ambrose, are you satisfied? Ken opened one of the boxes and saw that all kinds of dishes were packed into smaller boxes inside. There's too much. I only have 3 roommates. I only want 1 box, so don't waste this. If you can sell it, just sell it. If you can't sell it to your people, just eat it. Alex forced a smile and said, I only asked for 3 dishes to be cooked. Yet Ken had ordered all the dishes on the table again. Let me help you carry it. Ken picked up the box himself and followed behind Alex. The group of people from the room also followed him out of the hotel. All right, you can all go back now. I'll just take a taxi, Alex said as he looked at the crowd. Mr. Ambrose, I'll take you there. My car is over there. Lucy invited her driver to come out. Sure, Alex agreed. With Lucy escorting Alex off, Ken and the rest felt relieved. After bidding Alex farewell, they all left. As they walked to the car, Lucy started to apologize to Alex. Mr. Ambrose, thank you so much for letting me take you back. It was me in the elevator. She grabbed his hand and said, Please slap me a few times as well. No need, Director Smith. What are you doing? Alex retracted his hand and said, I shouldn't have snuck a peek at you in the elevator. It's nothing. It's my good luck that you saw me. I hope you're not angry with me. I'm very grateful. Thank you, sir. Lucy bowed to Alex as she kept talking. All right, let's just get me back to campus. Alex smiled faintly. Yes, Lucy responded. As they walked, Alex took out his cell phone and called his dorm mate, Joe. Where are you? I'm still at the hospital in Rose's room, Joe replied. They're still in Rose's room, Alex thought. I should go there now with all this freshly cooked food. Alex frowned slightly and said, What's Rose's room number? I'll head over there now. They arrived at Lucy's Mercedes-Benz G500 as he finished talking with Joe. Mr. Ambrose, please get in, Lucy said sweetly to Alex. Alex first put the box of food in the back seat, then climbed in. Lucy got in on the other side. To Preston University, Mr. Ambrose? Lucy's driver asked. The two of them were alone in the back. Looking at Lucy's smiling face, Alex felt a faint nervousness rising from the bottom of his heart. Let's go to the general hospital. My friend is there, Alex said. Okay, Lucy's driver said, smiling, and started the car. The car was filled with the fragrance of Lucy's perfume. Alex wanted to glance over at Lucy again, but when he saw Lucy's gaze, he quickly turned away. His face flushed and his heart felt flustered. He felt ashamed. Sir, you can have a good look. I won't say anything. Lucy puffed out her chest as her soft voice floated over. Huh? Alex was stunned. Lucy glanced at Alex and said, Didn't I say this before? Being seen by you is a blessing. Alex smiled with embarrassment. Since Lucy had said so, there was no need for him to sneak around anymore. He turned in the seat and gazed directly at her. It had to be said that Lucy's figure was incredibly voluptuous. Everything on her body was captivating, including her earlobes, her ample peaks, and her snow-white arms. Alex's mouth went dry, and his face turned red and hot from looking at her. They arrived at the hospital. When she saw that Alex's gaze was still fixated on her, Lucy couldn't help but shyly smile. "Mr. Ambrose, we're here," she said softly. "Oh, we're here?" stammered Alex. Only then did Alex recover his composure. "Thank you. I'll be leaving now." He grabbed the food and exited the car.